everybody an opportunity as we go through.
Okay. Well, I, along with a few other people, were outside the door the night you did your deliberating. And my question is this. Now, I'd like to ask this. Now, whether you acknowledge it or not, but the latter was a complaint about the police department, as well as about actions of Commissioner Moore. You don't have to acknowledge it, but just like I said before, the letter was delivered to you for your information so that you can deliberate on it. Okay. Now, this crowd in here was pretty loud at times. So what I can do is I can tell you right now pretty much what you come up with. So I have only one question about that. Does the law allow for a person who's interested in something to vote on that matter? I'm speaking about commissioners. Does it?
Again, Mr. President, I oppose the commission. I'm going to refer all those questions to the city attorney.
Well, it was my understanding, and I talked to several people, and they say the law really discouraged that. And when you go to school and you're taught not to do that. Okay? Okay, so I'll wait until I get an official form from you, a report from you, whatever you want to hold. I'll wait. Patience is a virtue. I'll wait.
Also encompass that in there also. Okay? Outstanding.
Okay, I have a concern. So I want to know, Jerome, Mr. City Attorney, do you know the answer to that question? That he asked one question just then about what the law allows. Do you know the answer? Yes or no?
A city commissioner would be disqualified from voting on anything in which he had a personal interest.
So that answers your question, which brings
Yes,
us to
it sure does.
Commissioner Moore should not have been allowed.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
didn't vote.
Commissioner, there are no votes taken in executive session.
Well, in determining the outcome of what was being requested.
It's also, one of the things is that we've identified Commissioner Moore, and the thing is, when we talk about personnel, personnel is not to be discussed in an open forum.
That's why I gave you that letter
Correct.
and made no comment about it and let you deliberate on it.
Correct. Okay.
2 weeks and it's going to be some more.
Correct.
And the reason I bring this up is this. Let me say this before I go. I remember when that incident happened concerning Commissioner Pearson. It was all over the paper. There was a whole lot to do about it. Now, is the press here?
Yeah.
Newspaper here? What was the newspaper last meeting? Were they here? I'm just asking a question. Okay. They were not here, but that was broadcast, in the paper. And my question gets to be this. Police officers are trained. They're trained to be proficient and efficient in their duty. They're trained. They're trained. So my question gets to be, if a police does their job, the job that they are trained to do, the job that they are allowed by law to do, does anybody else have a right to adjust? To tell them to shut up and leave it alone, if you will. I didn't say nobody told me to shut up. Do anybody have any authority to adjust? That's my question. And I'll leave that with you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem, do you have any comments?
As I stated to you all the last meeting 2 weeks ago, when you all chose not to move forward, I said then that I would take it to whatever extreme I need to take it to, because it's not right. So, we're in work session right now. I think I'm on the agenda for regular meeting.
Correct.
Okay, so whatever else I have, I'll address it at the regular meeting.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
Commissioner Moore? Ms. Rowe? Commissioner Dern? Commissioner McNeil? Commissioner Gallo? Outstanding.
Okay.
Thank you. Today is November 20th. We're saying 10 business days or 10 calendar days before we respond.
We can have about a meeting next week.
Okay, a little next week. City manager, please copy the commission.
As I stated in the work session, I would reserve my comments regarding the complaint that was filed by myself on behalf to the Coffee County NAACP. I would reserve them for the regular meeting, in which I am now doing. And for the record, Madam Clerk, I want this complaint to be made a part of the official minutes for this meeting. Now, as you, no, just my verbal,
Okay,
because I
okay.
think Mr. Presley presented you all with the written
Correct.
at the last meeting. So, on this day, I'm doing a verbal complaint that I would like to be added to what has already been stated. Before I get started, I want to, first of all, because Mayor, I heard you say to Mr. Adams, or say to Mr. Presley, correct me, that personnel cannot be talked about in an open meeting. So, Mr. Adams, I need that to be clarified for me, because I recall a personnel issue some years back involving one of our city employees, and we chose to take that issue inside of executive session. And we received an order from the Superior Court of Coffee County saying that we had violated law.
What that involves is bringing into the executive session an outside party that was present during the executive session. And if I remember correctly, whatever action was taken during that executive session was set aside.
Right, it was. So then, in doing that, bringing someone into the executive session, how were we to discuss the matter if we didn't do it in executive session? Because we did it in executive session, but I'm referring to what the mayor stated in terms of not discussing personnel matters in the open meeting. So I want some clarification.
All right, the purpose of going into executive session to discuss personnel matters is for the commission only. It is not to take testimony from any outside parties concerning any personnel.
Okay.
So it is proper to go into executive session and discuss personnel matters. However, it is improper to bring in a third party in that executive session to discuss a personnel matter.
Right, but so in our regular open meeting like we are in now, we can talk about personnel.
If you so choose.
Thank you. So I just wanted to get that clear, that we're not violating the law to discuss this issue. Which brings me to my complaint that I filed with the NAACP of Coffee County approximately 2 weeks or so ago. On November the 4th, 2016, I received a copy of an incident report dated October the 31st, 2016, where a certain elected official had been involved in an incident with a Douglas police officer. It was disclosed to me that the officer was going to issue a citation to the commissioner for 2 offenses. But however, I was informed that the officer was told by his superiors that he was not to issue the citation to the commission, and it would be best if that incident report was destroyed. I disclosed this information to City Manager Terrell Jacobs, and he informed me that he was aware of the incident and that he had informed Chief Castellows that if Mayor Pro Tem Pearson learned of this, it would be a problem. Well, Mayor Pro Tem Pearson did learn of this, and there is a problem. There is not only a problem because of the discriminatory manner in which Mayor Pro Tem has been treated, but because the citizens of Douglas, Georgia, deserve better and more professional services than a cover-up. And in my opinion, that's exactly what has happened. I can assure you, had this been a regular citizen or Mayor Pro Tem Pearson, if I had disobeyed what the officer had stated for me to do, or a regular citizen had disobeyed, then that officer would have proceeded behind me or the other regular citizens. Our citizens deserve fair treatment, and more importantly, they deserve transparency in the law, not a cover-up. Upon learning of the various information, I requested that this mayor and this commission have an investigation to conducted to find the truth. Needless to say, the vote went 3 in favor of the investigation and 3 not in favor of an investigation. Go figure. Now, I am appalled at the actions of this mayor and council because I feel like we have a responsibility to do the right thing. Now, it could be said, well, we don't know that there is a cover-up, but that's right, we don't know. But it appears to be, because several sources have came to me and stated that the officer was told he was not going to issue the citation. And when he did issue it, after I found out about the report, I went and got the report, and at that point, 10 days later, a citation was issued. But it was not issued for what the original charge was, which was you cannot proceed down that road. And the person chose to proceed down that road anyway. It was issued for not parking behind the officer's car. I am concerned about this because, in my opinion, such matter is very minute. That's a small matter. I'm concerned that if we'll bother to try to cover up for a commissioner who disobeyed the law, what would happen if it was something more serious? Now, Ms. McNeil, Commissioner McNeil, you sat here at that last meeting and you stated to Commissioner Moore that he did in fact tell you that he had went down the road the officer said not to go. Commissioner Dern has confirmed that he heard you say that. Miss City Clerk Juanetta Boulder has confirmed that she heard you say that. Ma'am, go ahead.
My understanding from Commissioner Moore was that he turned around and went the other way.
That's not what you
No.
stated at our last meeting. That's not what you stated. And it's been confirmed by others up here that you did tell him. You said it twice. Commissioner Moore, you told me that you went down the road that the officer told you not to go down. You said that twice, Miss McNeil. But we're not going to argue about that. We're not going to argue about that. That's fine. That pastor who was asked to come here tonight, he was asked to come here for a reason. And what he spoke on had to come from God. Because like he said, it's not to be on one person to do what's right. It's on this whole council. And if you all do not want to take and look into what's happening, because we have several issues going on. And we all know it. We all know it. The high turnover rate, the discrepancies in how different people are treated. And I'm just to the point, I'm sick and tired of it. I am really sick and tired of it. But I can assure you, you all say you're going to get Mr. Presley something in writing.
That's correct.
Not only to Mr. Presley, you get me something in writing because I made the complaint. I know you're going to do it to the whole council. But see, the point is it should not have taken this long. It should not have taken 2 weeks ago. And then for him to have to come back. We should have already had something. We should have already had something. But to those of you who did not agree to try to launch an investigation into what's going on, if there is something wrong, then you all let it fall. And I tell you, the citizens of Douglas needs to demand your resignation. If you're not going to uphold the seats that you're holding, you don't need them. You don't need them. But I'm tired. I am tired. I assure you, I am tired. And this is not the last of this. This is not the last of it. This commission had the authority to do an investigation to get down to the truth. But if you're scared, you don't need to be sitting up here. That's my complaint. I rest my case for now, but that's not the end of it. I will continue to move forward to the GBI, to the FBI, ACLU, wherever I need to go into this matter. Don't sit there nodding your heads at me, Mr. Attorney, because you sat there and you heard Miss Cindy say that and you didn't say anything to her at that last meeting. You didn't address it. Nobody addressed it but me when I said, really.
It wasn't my place to address it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Moore?
Well, what she's saying is untrue. I did go and the officer that was standing there, he stopped. And I lived around the corner. And he told me to turn to the right. I said, do you know who I am? He said, I most certainly know who you are. And I said, well, me and you and the chief will have a talk Monday. So I turned, me and my wife, he didn't see her in there. I turned and went the way he originally told me. And the reason I told him that is the attitude he had. He had his wife out there with him, which is inappropriate. But I did never tell him I was going on down that road. I'm not stupid. And I haven't been indicted for anything. And you have. And you talking about me.
All right, no, excuse me, we would not have any character assassination. You addressed Mr. Moore, I offered Mr. Moore an opportunity to respond, he has responded. So, we're not gonna have a back and forth.
No, we're not, but I'm
Okay.
gonna address what he said about an indictment since he brought it up.
That he did, I do agree with that. Madam Pro Tem, you finished?
Yeah.
It's back to the Madam Pro Tem.
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, Commissioner Moore, you stated about an indictment. Well, the indictment was not pertaining to the stop that I got out on in November 2015. Now, when I got out of my car, 2015, November the 5th, it was because I was concerned for the life of some people, what was going on, what was wrong. I saw a young lady standing on the sidewalk, as I have said numerous times. But see, had the City of Douglas Police Department afforded me what they afforded you, that would never have been on social media site. It would not have ever been on Channel 10 News. It would have never been on Douglas Scanner. But you see, I was not afforded that for whatever reason. I got out, I saw a young lady on the sidewalk to ask her what was happening. As soon as I approached her and said, what's happening, honey? By that time, the officers began saying, go back to your car, ma'am. I began backing up, going back to my car, upon them stating that. That's what I did. Even though I complied and went back to my car, it was sent to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation to investigate me, to try to bring some charges against me. The GBI found no wrongdoing in what I did because I went back to my car like the officer instructed me. So the indictment that has come about came about afterwards. After they were not able to pin that on me, they came up with some fraudulent mess about helping people to vote. People have always helped people to vote. Just letting you know a little history of it. Because the fact of the matter is, certain people in this community do not approve of me sitting in this seat. But those people who don't approve are the ones who do not live in my district. So to clarify with you, since you're talking about an indictment, that's just a motive to get me out of this seat that I sit in, like some of you would really like to see happen. So that's what that's all about. Nothing to do with not complying with what the officer said. The indictment is about helping people to vote. Since you chose to bring that up. But like I say, I was not afforded the opportunity. When you got your ticket that you got, it stated under investigation. That night I got out of my car, it was not allowed to be under investigation. It was immediately sent to the media to scandalize my name and try to bring shame on me. But there's no shame to be brought because I did nothing wrong. Had I not complied to the officer, I would have been at fault and I would have been arrested. You didn't comply. And you know you didn't comply. You've told several people that you went down the road, the officer told you not to go down, and so has that officer. So what I want to know is why has his statement changed? He's been forced to change his statement, which would have been revealed if we did an investigation. But one will get done. But I just I need to respond to that about the indictment.
Agree.
Thank you.
I went down the road he told me to, and I never told him that I was going up the road because he said the road is closed. But it wasn't because there were people coming that way toward me. And I did go down the road, and he never told me to stop. He was gonna write me a citation. There's several individuals in there that's not true.
Okay?
But I did not, so basically I did not disobey him because I did go the way he told me to go.
Outstanding. I will afford an opportunity. Mr. Rope, you have any comment?
No.
Commissioner Durham, do you have any comments? Commissioner McNeil?
I'm still confused about which way
Okay.
went, and I'm sorry.
Okay.
I
Not a
really
problem.
am, sorry.
Commissioner Gowan, do you have any comments?
Mhm.
I do have to say for the record that I'm not scared of anybody in this room or anybody in this city. And I'm up here to do my job, and I will do it the best I see fit. You can count on it, take it to the bank.
All right. Outstanding. Next, we have on the agenda, we have the items on the consent agenda. And Mr. City Manager, next on the agenda, we have general comments from the audience. If we have a citizen that is present that would like to address the council, please go to the podium, state your name, address, telephone number, and your concern.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tony Paul, 1509 North Gas. I got a question, and I was just listening to what was going on. But the thing is I seen a lot of attitude when she said what she said about him in that corner over there. And it make people, if they watching this, it make the community feel bad, you know? And it ain't about racism and all this here, it's just the way that they doing things. Cause anybody else get a ticket, it ain't 2 months, it ain't 3 months, it's right then. And so if the community hear this on TV, they feel like they could do it. You know, why we can't get away with it? It's gonna be a problem if we do anything. So now, my thing is, Commissioner Pearson, when you get denied, let God help. Cause one thing about Coffee County, it always been crooked. And ain't nothing gonna change unless the people change their ways and their outlook on this city. Cause this city got a dark cloud over it. And people need to be honest. If you ain't down for right, like you say, move. And so, one thing about God, if you wrong, it'll leak. It don't take darkness. It's dark out there. Morning coming. You got a lawyer. Sit here and say one thing and change it up. All this here, God got to handle this. You can't handle this. He can't handle this. Can't nobody handle this but God. So when you got an attitude like what I just seen, cause of what you said, that show you favoritism and show you how they feel about you. So you don't care about how nobody feel about you. You let God work this out.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Greetings, my name is George Foster. I am 5004 Oak Drive, Valdosta, Georgia. And I just got a comment for the council and to the mayor and all you elected officials. On my YouTube channel, Boston GBR, I'm covering 16 to 18 cities and counties, dealing with city and county governments. And I know and I can tell that people took things at heart this evening, but I want to commend Douglas. And I'm not doing this for any favoritism, for somebody to say something good about me or nobody else. But I want to commend the mayor and you elected officials in this regard. When I look at you all had opposition, I watched how you dealt with it. And believe it or not, I've gone through to some cities that if this would have happened, people would have walked out of the meeting and it would just been total chaos. So I'm going to take my seat, but I started not to say nothing. But all these cities that I go through and see turmoil, people fighting one another far worse than anything I've seen here tonight. So I want to commend Douglas for the camaraderie that you do have without all the outbursts that definitely, as a retired military veteran of 21 years, this is more like the nation that I serve to protect. And I thank you all very much, Douglas.
Thank you for your service.